Okay, so this week I am interviewing Madeira ambassadors to take a little dive into their history, their creative process, and find out what matters to them most about thread. So today I'm here with Claire Muir. And Claire, can you just introduce yourself a little bit and tell us a bit about you as a maker?
Well, I love sewing and I love free machine embroidering. When I was shown exactly how to do it, the lights were switched on for me. So I love it, I love doing it, I love talking about it, and I love spreading the word, and I want everybody else to do it as well because it's very easy and versatile and you just can do so much with it.
Yeah, and you have a wonderful history of free motion and embroidery. So what do you love to create most with Madeira thread?
I think it's actually sewing on soluble fabric for me because it's that idea of being able to create shapes, whether it be flowers, whether it be millinery, and you're just using wire and some slight residue that's left when you wash away the soluble fabric. That's what works for me, and also the fact that you can colour match outfits. So by mixing threads, so quite often I will actually have one colour in the top and a different colour in the bobbin, and when you've washed the soluble away, the two colours mix together and you can colour match outfits really easily, and I love that.
Ah, so the thread is really the feature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what do you offer to the world with your creative business?
Teaching. I love spreading the word that you can actually free machine embroider, and it's really, really easy to do. And on a simple machine, I think a lot of people think you need to spend a lot of money to do free machine embroidery, when actually you can do it on quite a simple machine. And I'll show you how to. And I think I just want people to have that eureka moment really, when it's possible to do that. So I teach beginners free machine embroidery classes, and I also teach other classes as well. And I think the fact that I actually have my own studio and I provide the sewing machines and all the materials, so you just have to bring your own packed lunch. I'll do all the teas and coffees. We're just in this space all day, and it's just a self-indulgent day, and usually at the end of it you'll go home with a finished thing. So if you're doing a beginner's class, you'll go home with some samples, but if you're doing one of my flowers or a book cover or a bowl, you'll go home with a finished project that you're proud of.
Okay, so since we're talking about a bricks and mortar where people can actually come, where are you in the world?
So I'm based in Redditch, which is in Birmingham, and it's on a business park, so there's some free parking, and it's really, really handy actually. So yeah, please come and see me.
Okay, well, let's take a moment to mention your YouTube channel, because we were talking a bit earlier and you mentioned one video that kind of went viral. It had many, many views. So tell us about that video and what's your channel?
So actually that video is on my husband's YouTube channel, but my own channel is Claire Muir Free Machine Embroidery, and I'll take you on a journey where I show you different projects. And I think one of the most popular ones on there is actually how to free machine embroider lettering. If you want those monogram towels, you don't have to necessarily buy a particular machine to do that. You can actually do it freehand. And I'll show you some sort of handy tricks, including moving the position of your sewing machine to do italic writing.
Yeah, and we're not afraid to mention your husband's channel too, so let's mention that and tell us about the video. That it was embroidery, right?
That's right, it was a beginner's guide, and my husband's channel is Frank Nut Sewing Machines, and he's got a lot of very handy videos on there, but I think mine is got the top views at the moment.
That's great. Okay, so when do you remember having Madeira threads in your hands for the first time?
1988, and I was at university. So again, I had a bit of a mixture. I'd probably got my mum's Silco threads there as well. And I think somebody had given me a reel of Madeira to experiment with. And it had that beautiful sheen to it. I think that's what was so lovely. And the different shades. And yeah, I had a little dabble. And it was actually then that I was shown how to free machine embroider by Carol Naylor. And that was my eureka moment, because being shown how to free machine embroider was really, really exciting, because it's this idea that you can draw with a needle, and I can't tell you how exciting it is, because you have ideas in your head and then suddenly you're able to actually produce them. You don't have the mechanics of conventional sewing where the teeth are up and a foot is clamping the fabric and you're restricted by where you can move it. Because you've lowered the teeth, because you've removed your foot, you're off, you're away, you're drawing. It's very exciting.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the story where you first got really involved with Madeira.
Well, I think it was for my graduation. I actually made some hats, and I really loved doing what I was doing, but I wanted to continue and do a postgraduate year. So I applied and got into Glasgow School of Art, and my dad had the great idea of, well, you're using a lot of thread, why don't you write to the company and see if they can offer you some support? And they provide a sponsored student scheme. So for my postgraduate year at Glasgow School of Art, from 1990 to 91, I was a Madeira Thread sponsored student. So they gave me £40 worth of threads per term, and I used to have to write a report. At the end of it, I had to give them a piece of work, and then they also gave me free exhibition space for the fashion embroidery exhibition, which was held in Harrogate in the autumn of 1991. And that really began my journey.
So over all this time, which Madeira thread is your favorite right now, and how does it elevate your work?
I would say metallic, the shades of gold that are on offer, and I particularly like the sort of paler gold because it's not too in your face, and I think I use that a lot in my work. It just gives it that lovely twinkle, and it's just subtle. That's one of my favorite threads.
Okay, so you've already mentioned that teaching is something you truly love. So if you could say one thing to your community to lift them up, what would it be?
Give it a go. Quite often I'm asked, would it work if I sewed on such and such a fabric or material? Now I know I've sewn on a variety of things, for example, magnum wrappers, plastic bags, leather, and so I've got a good idea what I've done in the past. But if someone says to me, will it work on such and such a fabric or material, and I've not had a go, I would encourage people to give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? You might break a needle. That's not the end of the world. So if you've got an idea and you fancy giving it a go, I say just give it a go.
Okay, and if you had a thread tip for everyone, what would that be?
Back to metallic thread. What I've learned over teaching in time is, yes, you do need to make sure that you've got perhaps the right needle in. I know I sew very successfully with a size 80 needle in, but a size 90 top stitch or a metallic needle, a metafill needle, is often perhaps easier for everybody. But the one thing that I would also say to students is just slow down a little bit. I think when you're new and you're excited, you just have no fear and you instinctively go quite fast. Now I know you should do fast foot, slow hand with machine embroidery, but with metallic thread, just slow down a little and give it a chance to actually just go through the machine mechanics, if you like, and you'll get great results. Just slow down a bit.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your journey. So tell us about the time that you were a milliner.
Oh, well, that was really exciting. So after I left Glasgow School of Art, and I'd actually won the Worshipful Company of Drapers Textile Award at New Designers, it gave me £1,000, trust me, in 1991, that was a lot of money. So I was able to buy some hat blocks and some other materials, a smocking machine, and I did various commissions. I was based in Bournemouth at the time, and I was doing some work for private commissions through a shop, and then I also went on to get my own clients. And it's just really exciting when someone comes to you and they've got an outfit and you're trying to colour match it, make suggestions, and it's just a really exciting time. I also did millinery after I'd actually worked for Stageworks Worldwide Productions. That was the time when I designed hat and headdresses for the theatrical shows on the Blackpool Pleasure Beach, like Hot Ice and Eclipse. And after that, when I returned home to Hampshire and looked after my own customers, it gave me that idea that I had much more of an understanding of how things should fit. And so when they wore, whether it be a fascinator or something else in their hair, that it would fit, that it wasn't going to fall off their head. They didn't need necessarily a chin strap to keep it on, but customers and clients could actually just relax at the functions, at the weddings, enjoy the moment, and be knowing that whatever they were wearing on their head fitted them and was comfortable.
Yeah, it sounds like you've had such a wonderful creative journey. So can you tell us something that you're really proud of along the way?
So I think really one of my proudest moments was the finale scene for the show Eclipse at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, because the scene is all in white and it has some different headpieces in there, and I very proudly designed and made them all. So from feathery headdresses to the other sort of angular sculptural headdresses that some of the performers were wearing, to also the light-hearted, bouncy ones that the jugglers were wearing. They were all different materials, expensive stripped coke feathers, also using Ridgeline fabric paint as well. Very excited about that.
Okay, so can you show us a couple of the beautiful, intricate things that you've made?
Of course. So this hat is actually got a crown of machine embroidery, and that is all soft. So when I've stitched it on soluble fabric, I've washed it all completely away. So the residue, there's nothing stiff on that. And then what I've done, I've pin tucked wires down there, and that's what's holding it in place. And the wire, if you're wondering, I've actually covered that with Madeira thread before I've pin tucked it and kept that in place. And it has a silk crown as well to it. So it's really light to wear, and it has actually been worn to a wedding. So likewise with this crown, it's all free machine embroidered on soluble fabric, and what's keeping it in place is the headband that it's attached to and the outside wires and the central wires there. But it's all quite light because it is thread, and that's what I love about it, because actually when you've got a metal tiara, it does make it quite heavy and quite uncomfortable to wear, but that's quite easy to wear.
Okay, so and can you tell us a little bit about what's coming up for you in the future? What are you excited about?
Oh, Christmas workshops, it's that time of year. So we've got some different techniques happening. I've got some baubles, and we've also got some Devori hand-dyed velvet, which we will be embroidering, embellishing and wearing as a cuff.
Okay, and students can sign up for that at your website?
That's it, indeed they can.
Okay, and let's mention your website one more time.
It is www.claremuir.co.uk.
Okay, and to finish things off, if people are watching right now and they're thinking, oh, I would love to connect, or I'd love to follow along, where can we find you on social media?
Facebook and Instagram. I'm known as Clare Muir Textiles on both of those. So just reach out to me, have a follow, have a look at the students' work. You'll see what's done and how the beginners have created beautiful, beautiful things. And if you've never had a go at free machine embroidery and you thought, oh, I want to give it a go, then do. And if you're not in this country, I do teach Zoom workshops as well.
Well, Claire, thank you so much for sharing some bits of your story.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.